before you type in 0144899981. Would love to talk to you. Now, today is a Lagos Talk special, like we promised you earlier, and we have guests from around the world to speak with you. We have representatives from Junior Chambers International, that's JCI, the Nigerian Executive Vice President, sorry, pardon me, ladies first. We have Aini Oja. That's okay, correct? Aini Oja is a JCI. She's a national president of JCI Estonia. So welcome, Aini.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And we have JCI Nigeria Executive Vice President ADEDOTUN ADEKANBI.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good
I'm getting very well with very good with my Yoruba. Yes.
If you say so. But,
Oh, okay.
No, but today you've done very well. Well done.
Thank you.
That's the honors when it's due.
So here's what we're talking about today.
All right. So this morning, don't forget it's our conversation segment where you get to talk, and it's Lagos Talks 981. So we will be opening the phone lines once we start the conversation. But as we teased earlier on, we're looking at young people, social action, volunteering as a tool to hopefully tackling unemployment in Nigeria, and just exploring just how involved young people in Nigeria are when it comes to social action and community development. And to do that, we have representatives from JCI who know a thing or two or and more, because this is what they get involved in with regards to working with young people in community development, social action, and also as a volunteering organization as well. So it's good, we'd love to. It's great to have you in the studio.
Thank you
And
very
like
much.
we mentioned, if you'd like to join the conversation, please call the line at 01448 9981. That's 01448 9981. However, if you still prefer to send messages through WhatsApp, you can still do that.
Yes.
Number is
0809 444 for messages only through WhatsApp. 0809 444 We're live on Twitter, not streaming live, but we're available to get your messages. But just add this hashtag. It's Lagos Talks 981 on Twitter at Smooth981FM. So tell us, I'll start with you, ADEDOTUN. Tell us about JCI and what you are involved in.
Oh, thank you very much. JCI is an organization of young people between the ages of 18 and 40. And then our objective is to tackle problems within the community. Now, the vision of the organization is to be the largest young organization of young people, active citizens. And of course, how do we intend to do that is to provide development opportunities for young people to achieve their objectives. In doing all this, JCI has been in Nigeria for over 60 years now. And then we have a lot of local organizations in Nigeria. I represent a national organization. We have a lot of local organizations that do so much as well. And we implement a lot of projects that tackle problems within our communities. For instance, a local organization would look at the problem within its environment and tackle such problems that addresses a particular need within the society. There are a lot of things. For instance, we have a tool we call JCI Active Citizen Framework, which is a tool that helps with the project implementation from the initiation of the project to the closeout of the project. So this tool has been developed across board and is used all over the world, whether you are in Japan, Estonia, Nigeria, everywhere, to achieve the same objective.
all right.
This
Now,
is what we do.
fantastic. I know you work in the local Nigerian context, and I'm really glad you're here, because it would be great to make that comparison between Nigeria and, of course, countries in Europe like Estonia, and how involved young people are. In the age of social media, we find out that talk is cheap. So a lot of people say a lot online, particularly with the political climate in Nigeria. But when it comes to actually doing the work, there's no one to be found. How does that play out in Estonia, for instance? How involved are young people when it has to do with being committed to developing a community and volunteering? How involved are young people?
I think it's the same as everywhere, that people are spending more and more time on social networks, and it's easier to just stay at your home and be in Facebook and Instagram, and it's always easier option than going out and doing something. But I think in more and more countries, young people are realizing that the real skills you don't get from school. The real skills you get when you are doing things. And when you are graduate, you want to start working, the company say, yeah, your CV is nice, but we need somebody with experience. And then you are struggling to get that experience. You have to start with from very low level. Maybe it's the same everywhere. Not, I think, Estonia, Nigeria, and NGOs is excellent way to get that kind of experience that you can show. I have done that kind of projects. I have been in those roles. I have taken leadership position. So I already know how to do those things. I have public speaking skills. This is something that you can't get so easily from education system. So that's the value that young people in Europe are seeing in JCI and similar NGOs.
I understand that JCI is very well involved in the educational system, not necessarily administering the education itself, but reaching out to students, undergraduates, correct?
Very correct.
Okay, because I understand it starts from there. Personally, I started in 200 level.
Were you a member?
Working, well, not a JCI member, but just, volunteering and then working. Because at my time, not to give out my age, but at the time they started introducing in Nigerian universities, the online registration thing, and the portal was set up, and I know I participated, I volunteered as one of the computer science undergraduates to help students get enroll and understand the system. Now, how well involved are you with Nigerian students and undergraduates?
Okay, thanks a lot. We have a collegiate structure that we currently run. Now, within this collegiate structure, we have most of the universities in the country, polytechnics, College of Educations. So we have JCI members within those institutions. Now, JCI member, for instance, JCI member University of any of these universities, they also do everything we do as a city local organization. Now, the beauty of what we now do with them is that there's a mentorship line. Now, as JCI members in the university, they can align with city local organizations. Now, so once we have a city local organization that is doing very well, they identify the collegiate organization that they would want to mentor, and then they mentor them. So it helps with the development of the students within the university. So we're well connected with them, and then we do a lot of there. Of course, we also have what we call a collegiate conference, which is also coming up in July, by the way, in Jos. Now, this collegiate conference is also an opportunity for students in university to also coordinate themselves and organize the conference. City local organizations will also attend the conference and make it a bigger platform for them.
How do you fund these?
Well, to be quite honest, a lot of funding comes from personal purses.
Okay.
You understand? We do a lot of that. Now we also seek out corporate sponsorships, which we get one-off, maybe once in a while. However, I can tell you that a lot of the funding comes from personal investments.
Okay.
All right, so it's a largely volunteer-led initiative.
Absolutely.
Now, when you talk about volunteering, I want to put a spotlight on that, because one of the main complaints when it comes to young people, I'll set this tone. We need to go on a break, but once we come back, I would love for you to answer this. And that is that they say that many Nigerian graduates are unemployable, and then employers are also looking for skills that they say that graduates do not have. And
Absolutely.
many people have advocated that volunteering is a great way to get skills while you're still in university and to make you more employable. Unfortunately, the major feedback is that I need to make money. Why would I want to do something for free when I have to pay my bills, I have to take transport? So I'd love to hear how that plays out, and if you're going to make a case for more young people taking on volunteering, what you'd say. But just hold your thought. When we come back, we'll take your comment.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm on the radio anyway.
Ever.
Oh, you're doing great.
Yeah.
And is it your first time?
We made history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're pro.
That's nice. Well, Anna, it's not your first time, is it?
Also in Estonia, I have been in national radio 1 hour.
Oh, wow. Did they grill you with questions?
Actually, it was about my scientific research, so I knew really well what I was talking about,
Yes.
and it was
Oh.
interesting for me.
Oh,
What was your research on?
Hmm?
What was your scientific research on?
Linguistics, communication, online communication.
you need
And
to
the
train
psych-
us.
It was about psychology of online
Yeah.
Oh,
communication.
interesting. Wow.
That's
Okay,
very
we
good.
should talk.
Mhm.
That's a very interesting angle.
Turn to the inside lane when you have passed them. The far left lane is for overtaking only, without cutting in.
This is Lagos.
Mike's a wrap. Lagos, we are having a very interesting conversation on Lagos Talks 981. It's a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
And it's a special, which means we have a guest in the studio, guests from Estonia, guests from Nigeria. We have the executive vice president for JCI, that's Junior Chambers International of Nigeria, ADEDOTUN, ADEKANBI, and we have ANNI Oja, who's the JCI Estonia national president. Welcome again.
Thank
Thank
you.
So glad to have you in the studio, and we're making history.
Thank you.
Inside jokes. But you would have caught that on YouTube if you're watching. It's youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. But before the break,
Yes, I asked a question around volunteering, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it with regards to making a case for more young people getting involved and at a younger age to help to solve that problem of having experience for working, being more responsible at a younger age. Can you please tell us your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much. I think it's now more of a fact that there's a skill gap between what we learn in the university and what the industry requires. The only way to bridge it, or maybe one of the best ways to bridge the gap, is to actually volunteer. A lot of us, we did a lot of that while we were in school and all that, and even after school. And that's why even JCI offers the platform for that. At the collegiate level, when you become, once you're a member, you do a lot of volunteering in a lot of activities, and we try to also bring a lot of skills. Like currently, the new, the 2019 board, we're bringing Google to most of our conferences to train students in the university on digital skills. Now, these are skills that they are also going to be able to use to harness when they eventually leave the school. Even while in school, they can use it to make some money. There are also a lot of projects that we actually organize for university students to give them hands-on skills. A lot of projects that city organizers. However, I understand the challenge we're trying to address has to do with volunteering. We have that issue, and to be quite honest, Nigerian youths are not quite motivated for that, because they feel, of course, they needed the money and all that. So everybody looks at it as, what's in it for me?
Yes.
Unfortunately, at that level, you need people who are self-motivated to understand that it's not about what's in it for you now. You need to delay gratification. You need to wait for a while and then acquire the necessary skills while you are delaying the results you eventually
Almost
get
like
at the
an
end of it.
investment.
Absolutely.
So you might not have the money, the disposable income to play around with now,
But you
you're
have the
looking
time.
forward to, hopefully reaping the benefits in the future.
all right.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Not to downplay your aspirations, or as noble as it sounds, it almost sounds like it sounds really good in principle. Sounds like not to disparage that title, but like Nigerian pastor, encouraging you to work and your reward is in heaven. We understand that the systems here, or the facilities that are available in other climes, I would say with caution, in Estonia, you have certain things, certain facilities, certain policies that enable for growth and for progress and for better livelihood for youth.
True.
In Estonia and other parts of Europe, in Northern Europe, for instance. But in Nigeria, the cases may not be the same, right? So how do you now bridge that gap? Because you're telling somebody to work for free, to volunteer. The health system is in question. Education system is in question. People are trying to, have basic meal 3 times a day, and they're trying to have lights. They're trying to have good health care. How do you now encourage that same person, to work the same way the JCI member in Estonia is working?
Would work. Absolutely. Which is why One of the things we do is we also put an human face to volunteerism. Uh, Not only, I mean, when we in JCI, for instance, an organization, we engage volunteers, and these volunteers get paid. Now, you might not be paid as you would want to be paid. The stipends that will do for your transportation and then feeding and all that. So we try to bridge the gap as well. We try to balance it. We try to ensure that we're not saying just come, because we also understand the challenges you have highlighted, that they do exist here, that there are certain things that are not in place, and it makes volunteerism very, very difficult. So we try to put certain things in place to balance the stress, to balance the journey, to encourage them the more, to ensure that we get the right people to come and acquire the right skills, and then they can then deliver the result.
Okay, so the primary focus would not necessarily be, for me, I would feel like you should appeal to every youth, regardless of affiliations or not, because so many Nigerian youth who are listening to the show right now want to know how they can be involved without necessarily becoming members of any group, right? Because that would seem a bit, what should I say, biased, or it just feels as if, as though you must belong to a certain clique before you reap the benefits. But how would you speak to? You've been in Nigeria for a week.
Yeah.
About that, Annie. When you've seen Nigerian youth, I'm sure you probably had a conversation or two with one or a couple of people. What's your perception of how they're disposed to the ideas you have?
I have been thinking on that in these days, comparing my country and Nigeria and the situation between two countries. And I think JSI works in both places in quite equal way, because wherever you go, JSI is the place where you get good contacts first. So when you are just starting your professional life, you don't have contacts in the beginning. You know, maybe your family, your friends, but you don't have so many contacts in professional level. So JSA is the place where you get to know people from all kind of professions, and often they are people with internal drive, motivation. They are trying to achieve things. So you surround yourself with people who are thinking in the future. And there are many sayings about that you are like average of your 5 closest friends. So in JSA you can find the people who help you to start aiming higher, because it's easy to think on tomorrow, okay, tomorrow I need money. But if you think in 5 years, where I want to be in 5 years, are the activities that I'm doing now taking me where I want to be in 5 years? So actually we should think not on tomorrow, but in 5 years.
So
who
have
I
a
want to be.
5-year plan.
Yes.
And think ahead and plan ahead and understand how you'd like to achieve the things that you have
Yes,
thought
and
about.
what skills do you need for that? Because then if you think on 5 years, then you understand that maybe I need to improve skills that I don't need today in my working place. But these skills are something that makes difference between you and the other people in the same field. You will be something extra, something more. So you are making maybe something without getting paid, but this is building you a base for aiming much higher than the others who are just going to work and after that home every day. So you will be different and better. And around the world, I have now traveling to all continents with JSI. I know people from all kind of countries, rich, poor, and I see the difference that JSI makes. I meet somebody like maybe 2 years ago, and the person is very shy and saying, yeah, I don't like my job, but we don't have options. And then the person is taking more responsibilities in JCI, and after 2 years, I see the person changed, speaking with confidence and saying, actually, I left my job and I started my own company because thanks to JCI, I got the knowledge how to do it.
All right, so let's speak on a general note. All right, I didn't have to be a member of any group when I started thinking entrepreneurially, or when I started thinking of volunteering generally, because I started going into entrepreneurial skills or thoughts after school. But while I was there as an undergraduate, I knew that I needed these skills, right? But I wouldn't say it's different back then from now, although considerably it is. But presently, let me come to you, Dotun. In Nigeria, you find that youth, even when they want to intern, they would ask you, how much are you going to pay me, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you now encourage them? I'm talking about Nigerian youth, regardless of affiliations or group or whatever. how do you encourage Nigerian youth to see beyond that, realistically speaking?
Well, the way I see it, we need to be very clear on this. The fact that we're not going to get everything we want immediately. It means that as a volunteer, I mean, if an organization is embarking on a project
without an organizational
no, I'm not even
affiliation.
talking about organization. I'm not referring
Okay.
to JC. I'm saying, let's say a project is ongoing, whatever, and you want to volunteer. The reason you're volunteering is also because you do not have the required skill, and then you needed to come and learn something. Now, it's not about what you're going to get from it that is more important. What is key is what haven't identified the gap that you have, and you have been able to identify that what is going on in this place can bridge that gap for you. You are the one that needs it. You need that role more than the organization needs you. That's the reality. So we need our youth to face that. I give a personal experience as well. Growing up back then in Ibadan, I know that I had a gap and I wanted to bridge the gap. I wanted to be an IT.
What was the gap?
I wanted to bridge. I needed IT skills. Back then, you know, it was quite interesting. We didn't have a lot of computer companies around like we have now. So I went to this place and I stood there for hours begging the woman to give me the job. And she was like, no, I don't need it. I don't have a job for you. I came the second day and I met another person and they said, okay, you can start. It's because I was desperate to have that. And it wasn't because of what they wanted to give. If I told them that don't give me nothing, let me just do the job, because I knew I wanted to learn something.
You were clear in your focus, which is
absolutely
important. And this is something that we must hammer on. We must emphasize on the fact that people must understand, like you mentioned, Annie, that you know what you want. You have a 5-year plan, and so whatever you need to do to get there, you start to do it now. But Lagos, if you're listening and you'd like to be a part of the conversation, or from any part of the world you're listening from through our app, you can actually call us to ask questions to our guest in house. We have with us ADEDOTUN and Annie Oja, and you can call us on 014489981. That's 014489981, or you can send us a message on 0809440981. Perhaps you have been involved, you volunteered, or you've been involved in one form of social action or social cause, and you'd like to share your experience with us. Another focus we'd like to look at is the government's role in this. So, if you go to other climes, they have a proper structure for volunteering, for supporting people who want to go into community development through intervention by the government. I don't even know if you start to do that, if there's enough allocation in the budget for it, but it's something we must talk about. Well, we have some phone calls. Let's go to the phone lines, and when we come back, we continue the conversation.
Hello. Good morning,
Good
Vicky.
morning.
Is that you?
Morning. Hi,
Okay.
Vicky. Welcome.
Good morning to the guests in the house.
Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning.
About volunteering in the country, the reason, one of the major problems we have is government insincerity. Because for some things not to work in communities, it's not as if there are no process, or process put in place for those things to happen, like the sanitation. We have the sanitation people pay and all those things. There are people that are supposed to do it. But when you volunteer, somebody else is sitting somewhere and taking the money. So we do not have a structure that will make people to go out there and do things willingly because of what is happening in the country in general. Then secondly, I had an experience around the Kenya some time ago. I think maybe like 6 years ago. There was a road to a hotel that was so bad. So, and this guy came from out of the country and saw that his mother's property, that road was affecting the hotel sales. He asked them they should start the place to the hotel so that the customers can have access to it. He went to the local government, talked to them about all these things. He said they should give him bill. They gave him bill of 1.5 million. So they didn't know that he was going to pay that money. So the next day, he said they were going to spend the money so that they will bring the coaster there and dig the road. Before you know, somebody came, a contractor, and started building the road. So when he went went back to local government to find out, only for him to discover that the contract was already awarded to somebody and the person refused to do it. So when he came on board and said he wanted to do it, the only thing they were thinking of was he wanted to contest as a governor. That's why he said he wants to do it. So by sometimes he wants to do things in Nigeria as a volunteer to do things, they will tell you that because you have a political ambition. So those in government will stop you. It happened in National State. I've witnessed, and some other parts of the country. So that's the problem we have with volunteering.
All right.
People in the government, they think you want a political position, you want something to start on them.
Okay, Vicky.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Vicky.
much, Vicky.
So how do you volunteer without, or should you care what people think? Do you think people should care? Because I don't know that this is specific to Nigeria.
I think until people don't care, nothing changes. Things start to change when enough people start to care.
That's a punchline we should take a break on.
Quotable quote.
Yes, think over that, and we'll be back right after this. Please repeat what you said.
Sorry.
I said repeat what you said. When people stop caring.
When things start to change, when enough people start to care.
Very important.
Do you care? Well, we have a 9:31. Do you want to come back
After that, it's over this. Is that messages? Continue messages.
Okay, no, this one is for okay.
Please mute. Pause. Mute. Pause. Mute. Volume.
Yeah.
And we're back, like we never left. This is Lagos Talks 981. The conversation is part of Smith Breakfast with Ayo.
And Valentine.
And today we're focusing on youth involvement, social change, volunteering generally, and how, people should the youth need to be reawakened to the consciousness of giving back, even when they haven't gotten as much, because to be honest, not many youth in the world have gotten. The time of hand-me-downs is passing. If you haven't noticed, this is almost going extinct. Now you have to go out to search for what you really want. I think it was Jack Ma, the owner of Alibaba, that once was quoted 2 days ago, quoted as saying that he runs a system of 996, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. work time, 6 days a week, because people love their jobs. But to be honest, how many people love their jobs here? Even if you have to volunteer. So let's look at it vis-a-vis. You said something, ANNI, before the break. ANNI is the national president of JCI in Estonia. She's here with us to talk about this. You mentioned that things start to change when enough people start to care. And that's in reaction to Vicky, who called in from Lekki, saying that in these climes, if you volunteer to carry on a project that's supposed to be handled by the government, people look at you like you have a political interest or self-interest or selfish interest, to glean from that. But we have a call here.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Okay, so do us a favor, turn off that sound. The way it works is you have to talk to us on the phone and just turn off the sound.
Every device around you. Thank you.
Have you done that?
Yes, I've done that.
What's your name again, please?
My name is Joel.
From where?
I'm calling from JK Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank
hello,
you,
Joel.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I listened to the last caller.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that's the major focus. I'm not trying to bend or talk against anyone here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the major focus here today is youth getting experience as much as is required for them to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's our major focus here today.
Mm-hmm.
I so much appreciate ACI
Mm.
for what they are doing. I love their policies. I love their work.
Okay. So, but Joel, they work vis-a-vis, right? So youth getting experience vis-a-vis volunteering for change.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
I think the major thing we should talk about here is government. What is the government doing to encourage youth? By the grace of God, I have a couple of guys that I work with in a construction company, and I discovered that in most cases, we need ourselves. We need some of this youth to get things done. Youth can actually do a lot of what we think they cannot do. The problem here is how do you get encouraged?
Can you do it for free?
You can do it.
No, you, Joel.
I can do some things for free.
What kind of things? Can you? Okay, so on your street, sorry, what streets can you tell me right now? Maybe it might not be where you live, but just give me a street.
I can tell you, let's say I was.
Okay, so that Ayo Street that you just mentioned, if it has a bad spot, would you volunteer to take a wheelbarrow, pack sand or gravel to pave some bad spots without compensation or gratification on anybody taking pictures of you and posting on Instagram?
Yes, I can do it for free.
Awesome.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Joe. Unfortunately, we have to go. We have a break right now. And obviously, we'd love to still hear from you. If you still want to continue, you can call us back.
Mm-hmm.
However, right now, we're going to break. When we come back, the conversation continues with our guest in studio.
Soul singer Darian Dean. And
We
there's
have a
only
comment
one
on
station that
WhatsApp.
Okay, so to some extent.
Eh?
He will contribute to us to some
Everybody.
extent. So because everybody keeps saying government.
Yeah, we want to focus on ourselves now. I know the government has a role to play, and I do understand.
Yeah.
You know, some people have said you have to create an enabling environment to even make people. Somebody said, please don't advise people to volunteer because there's nothing they're going to get in return. So people have such a negative perception about why should I work for free? You know, I'm not getting anything. And they would compare to other countries. I'm sure in Estonia you have at least a good. I mean, I read about it that you have one of the best maternity. I think one of the things that in terms of welfare, maternity packages for women who want to go off on, you know, off on a break, as well as other things around. In the UK, you have the National Health Service. You have health insurance in many countries. We don't have that in Nigeria, so you can afford to do this because at least you know you would.
We have something to
Yes,
fall back on.
the students get, you know, subsidized transportation. So there's something to fall back on. But for Nigeria, I can understand, but it's still important.
But you always have to start somewhere because
Yes.
100 years ago we didn't have those things.
Okay. 7 seconds. Mics are up. Students live.
Welcome. It's still Lagos Talks 91 here on Smooth 98.1. I'm here with Valentine.
And here with I.
And of course, we have in the studio with us ANNI and also Dr. ADEKANBI, who are here. And we're talking about volunteering, social action, social community development, and quite an interesting discussion on and off air. If you'd like to listen to what we say off air, please follow us on YouTube. It doesn't go off on air, and we're still speaking live. But we have some comments. Don't forget, if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, it is Lagos Talks 981, so we want to hear your thoughts and comments. You can call 0144899981, or you can send your messages only to 0809440981. This is from Cisco Delgado. Earlier on, we said if people have had experiences, it would be good for them to share it. And Dr. you shared yours. Maybe we'll wait to listen to Ina's one as well before we close the show. Now, volunteering, I think, is about dedication to a given task without expecting compensation. How is that for a definition?
Yeah, I think.
All right, so the speaker who narrated his experiences in Ibadan, that's Dotun, concerning IT jobs, is very correct. It's about bridging a gap in your experience in a field of interest or career. I remember my experience in electronic engineering as a volunteer without payment or covered. Today, that sacrifice is a major lift-off in my career.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just like what you shared, that no one would take away the skills from you. No one's going to take away the experiences from you.
Yeah.
It might seem like, okay, we're having a conversation, before, you know, when we're and we talked about the fact that I was making a case for Nigerians who are not so big on volunteering, saying that in other climes you have a social safety net. So you have things like the welfare, a strong welfare system. You have transportation is subsidized for students, if and in some cases even made free. Accommodation is subsidized for students. You have your health scheme that favors young people as well. But you mentioned something really important that when or at the time, Estonia has not always been like that. You didn't always have such a system. Can you please just share with us a little?
Yes, like Estonia 100 years ago, we didn't have all those benefits as now. Life was quite different, and actually we became independent now again in 91. I was 11 years old then, and we started from scratch.
Please say that again. You became independent in 1991.
Yes, we were part
I
of
don't know
the
why
Soviet
she was
Union.
sad. or-
Nigeria has been independent since 1960.
Yeah.
Not comparing though, but go on.
Yeah, well, it was, we started from zero. We had to make new laws because the laws from previous republic were not anymore relevant. We had to make money, banking, army, police, everything from scratch. And we started with nothing. We had to create our country. And always you have to start somewhere. The world is all the time changing, and our choices is the force that makes it change in correct direction. So you can, your country the same as North Europe someday. It's just you have to make certain kind of choices.
So
And it starts with people.
as an individual, as a young person in Estonia, what was your biggest fear in terms of when you think about growth, personal growth, career growth? What was your biggest fear?
It's even very difficult to say because our world changed so much when I was young, when I was just starting teenage. One day we were communist country, another day suddenly we entered the capitalism without knowing exactly how to do it. We had to create the country. So I think we didn't have even time to be scared. There was just no time. You had to act in that moment and just try to choose wisely where to put the money. The very little money we had, it went all to creating IT infrastructure in country.
Okay.
But about volunteering, I wanted to say before, actually it has existed for thousands and probably tens thousands of years, because in most countries there have been a community culture. For example, building a house when new families started. Often in many countries the village came together and helped to build the house or helped with some big works, and it's something that has been common in Asia, in Europe, America, Africa, everywhere. So it's not anything new. It's something we have forgotten.
Okay, so I'm glad you left it at that last point. Something we've forgotten. Do you think it's amnesia, ADEDOTUN? Do you think it's amnesia or just a lazy feeling that we have time among the youth? Do you feel like, because you readily hear people say, "Oh, the government this, the government that." How about acting, knowing fully well? Do we have a full appreciation of the fact that time is not our friend?
Well, I think we need a mindset shift. I think our young people actually think we have all the time in the world to do what we want to do. And of course, that's why we spend a lot of time on social media platforms and all that, chatting all day and all. So, but the truth is that there's no time. Time flies. I mean, that's the only surest thing in life. The time will go. So it is important that we have this mindset change. We have this mindset shift. We begin to think about what we need to do and do it now. If you look at the Zuckerbergs and the likes, when did they start Facebook? Still very young. Of course, I know they have all these social safety nets that Ayo highlighted.
But those have not always been there.
Exactly. So we as young people also need to do a lot more. We need to be more proactive in what we want to do, and then volunteer to ensure that we get the right level of skills that we require.
All right. The number to call is 0144899981. In the studio with us we have special guests from JCI International, that's Junior Chambers International. ADEDOTUN ADEKANBI is the Nigeria's Executive Vice President for JCI. ANNI